What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. We are here again on a Thursday, 3 p.m., where we get to know a new member of my Max Efficient Facebook group. We are featuring today Nadalie Bardowell. Hi, Nadalie.
Hello.
Hi. So happy to have you here. Thank you for making time to be on the show.
Pleasure.
How has your day been so far?
It's been pretty good. I went to the spa and now I'm here.
That's awesome. Oh my God. I want to go to the spa. I thought spa were closed, but
They close on Boxing Day. But
okay. Yeah, maybe I'll squeeze in something. Guys, if you are here with us, joining us, make sure to type in the comment section below to say hi. And if you have any question at all at any time, feel free to ask and we'll make sure to answer your questions. So Nadalie, first of all, can we just talk a little bit about you? Like, where are you from and what it is that you do and so forth?
Yeah, so I'm from the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area. Like I'm sure quite a few of you are. And yeah, so my quick story is, I think it's a story a lot of us have heard, you know, the person who was working the 9 to 5 and was unhappy, ended up, you know, somehow stumbling into online business and blogging. And before you know it, you can never look back. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell. You know, like life gives you lemons and heck, I made some good lemonade.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, I've known you for quite some time now, and the one thing that really kind of like standing out to me is like how organized you are and how, like, you know, when you're putting your mind to something, like you really go into focus mode, like laser focus. Were you always like that?
I don't know if I was always like that. I think, yeah, I guess it depends who you ask. But I would say like that laser focus, give it 100%. It's something that started in second year of undergrad where I decided like, listen, I'm not happy with the grades I got in first year and I'm going to get straight A's from now on. And that's very much when I really became like hyper organized and made it my mission to, you know, do the best that I could and to no longer put things off. To anyone who reads my book, the story in the introduction is very much about that first year of undergrad and this crazy story of procrastination that happened to me. And yeah, like I'm the type of person who, if I start something, I commit. And even though I'm not a student anymore, I am proud to say that ever since that year, I did get straight A's, including during my master's program. So
Awesome.
it's just, I think we all have to make a decision to, you know, like, hey, being disorganized or procrastinating or whatever your thing isn't working. And, you know, we're coming up on the new year. We all have something that's not working. And you've just got to decide, like, I'm going to change this and I'm going to stick with it.
That's exactly why I love having you here, because, you know, procrastination, going into the new year, ending this year, going into the new year's, what a perfect time. I mean, you can actually do that at any time, really. But I think, you know, just knowing that it's like a fresh start. I think we're all done with 2020, you know, and knowing that we could just roll it to the 2021, I feel like, you know, it's a great fresh start for everyone. And hopefully we can put this COVID thing behind us. But we're not here to talk about that. But yeah, so my question is for you, like how, when you made the decision to make changes and then like, no, I'm going to have straight A's from now on. What are the little thing that comes to your mind? The first little thing that came to your mind that you did that got you to, like, slowly, like, you know, baby steps, they say?
Yeah, I'd say that it all starts with a plan, right? So whether you're a student or a mom or a business owner, whoever you are, you got like all this stuff going on, right? And so many of us just keep it in our heads. Or like we think like, oh, a couple of Post-it notes like here and there is gonna like keep us organized and help us have a lay of the lands, but the truth is that it's not. Things are going to fall through the cracks. So you all need to like develop a system. So like just like I did back in second year, beginning of the year, I sat down, I pulled out all my syllabuses. I'm like, okay, these are the 6 courses I'm taking. This is do this, this is do this. Like I created like a master plan with all of my due dates, knowing like, okay, in a couple of weeks, this is due. So I have to get started. And having that bird's eye view of what needs to get done when is really and truly the groundwork or like the foundation of achieving anything. So like I'm all about setting goals that help you to achieve them. And really, I think part of that is knowing your timeline, knowing what needs to get done, knowing what is most important to get done, because I think a lot of the time we can get distracted on things that don't actually matter, and just having that plan. And I think, you know, a plan gives you confidence. A plan gives you something to, you know, fall back on. Like you're like, oh, what am I doing today? I don't need to think about it. I have a plan. I just check my plan, right? And I think it takes a lot of self-doubt, a lot of, you know, I think everyone in this group probably at some time or another deals with things like imposter syndrome, or, you know, we're always battling limiting beliefs. Like, can I do this? Oh, what do I think? I'm crazy. I can't do this. Like all these thoughts that come through our mind. But I think having a plan is also the perfect distraction, because instead of getting caught up in your mindset, you're just like, okay, just do this thing for today. Like, don't worry about anything else. I'm just going to do this thing. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No. I think so too. And I love how you said, I think you're known for the goal slayer, if I'm not known correctly, but like, I think goal setting is so, so important. Just like how if you don't have a target, right? Like how are you gonna hit it? Like, and it's same thing with having goals, you know. I've realized over time, the clearer my goals were, the faster and the more like successful I would be with having that mindset. When things are like, I'm not so sure, like if your vision is so not too clear, then that's exactly when things can fall easily into the cracks.
Yeah. But I would say like, don't like be so obsessed with like having the perfect plan or needing to know every little detail, because let's be real, when is anyone 100% certain about anything, right? So I think that you can also fall into this trap of like, oh, I'm not ready because I don't have all the answers. Like no one has all the answers. So yes, have a plan, but don't plan to the point where you don't need to have such a perfect plan that it's like, you know, yes, we should have clarity. We should know the direction we're going in. And sometimes we don't know what the destination is, but like, unless you start walking, just like your vision, you can only see so far ahead. But like the closer you get to something, the more clear it becomes. So clarity is good, but don't use it as an excuse to not like get started.
Yes, exactly. Well, you know, I think there was this episode on my YouTube channel that I said to myself, because I've heard it, an advice from one of the YouTuber that I was following. He goes, just start messy, but just get started, you know? So I'm like, oh, okay. It's almost like giving me the, okay, I'm just going to start and let's see where the adventure takes me. Exactly. And we're all going to fail. Like, you know, whether like, I don't know how, like the definition of like failure, but like, we're all going to make mistakes and things are not going to go our ways. But that's why when you go through it, you'll figure out how to deal with it. And then you can't deal with a problem that is not really there too. So, right?
You can like estimate what our challenges are going to be, but it's not until you actually start that you really realize. And I think the best way to figure out if a path is the right direction is to try it. And if it doesn't feel right, then right? You're like,
Yes.
oh, I'll go this way instead. So yeah.
Yeah, and then I've been having a couple of other people coming in this week talking about writings and things like that, you know, and connect with many, many different kind of entrepreneurs all the time. And the one thing that they said, I mean, that is similar is just like, you need, you know, to have a coach, like someone that could be there, you know, that that have walked the walk, like whatever it is that you want to do, they can coach you so that you can achieve that in a more efficient way, if you know what I mean. So throughout your journey of like goal setting and going from where you were to where you are today, did you work with someone? Like what are your tools? What are your tips that you would share with us?
Yeah, I don't really have a coach, which is interesting. I'd say the only person who has really coached me business-wise, like in some official capacity, would probably be Sandra, whom everyone in here knows.
Yes.
Hi,
Sandra.
San Francisco. So yeah, like she's been really helpful at certain times when I feel like I was like hitting a wall. Sometimes it's great to have that person who has like a different perspective than you to help steer you in the right direction. So in terms of tools that have helped me, I would say, you know, in the beginning, I read a lot and I spent a lot of time, you know, just filling up on other people's wisdom. But I do think there's like a point where you need to stop reading and start doing. So to be honest, I haven't really read that much lately, except now I'm like, okay, I know that these are the areas that I need to work on for myself. So I'm going to learn from experts. So like, for example, I just started buying books again because I know what I need to fill up on. So yeah, like I think about, for me, I am more from the perspective of, okay, this person needs help with goal setting. This person needs help with productivity, or this person needs help with procrastination. So I'm here like trying to like create the workbooks and the tools to help other people, like deconstructing the process in my own mind and like the little scribblings that I do to help me like figure things out so that others can, you know, have an easier time at it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And how do people mostly find you? Like, you know, for you to get the data, like, oh, there's a lot of people, you know, needing help with the procrastination or like planning, or like how did you came in with this data, and where is it coming from?
Yeah, so in the beginning, about 3 years ago, when I was just starting out and I was building my email list, I sent out a survey, and it's just a simple, like, what's your number one struggle? You know, what is something that you need help with? You know, like, why aren't you living your best life, right? And from that initial survey, I think maybe got 100 responses. And I was able to figure out, like, okay, people are having issues with goals. Like, okay, like setting goals is one thing, but people are having problems achieving their goals. So that's where I created my Slay Your Goals planner, which has I sold over 1,000 copies of.
That's awesome.
Then. And yeah, so it's really and truly just listening to your audience. Just ask them, like, what do they need? And your audience does not need to be huge to figure that out. You can like post your survey in Facebook groups. You can ask other people to take it, just so you can like figure out what are they struggling with. Also, anyone who joins my email list, one of the emails I send out to them is just a question like, why haven't you slayed your goals? Like, first it starts with like a confession. I'm like, so I've got a confession to make. I'm a compulsive planner. I love to plan and plan and plan. And then I don't always like get started. Like, so what's yours? Like, so I think sending an email like that invites the person to just be honest. So I get like probably every day a response like, I'm struggling with this, or, you know, oh my gosh, me too. I thought I was the only one. And then I reply, you know, I give them a bit of advice, and I like point them in the direction of like some resources on my site, like the best, you know, over 300 blog posts. So I'm always like, read this. Like, I wrote these just for where you are, you know, and they'll be really helpful for you. Other than that, a lot of people find my content on Pinterest. I also do very well in Google organic search, because I've been around for a while and I publish a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, we have Lynn here that says that it's amazing. I think she's probably talking about your planner and like how you connect with your audience through your email list. And I think that's the one thing that I really, really need to like focus on is like really the email list, because my email list did grow, but I'm still trying to figure out a way to connect and engage with them. And I think survey is such an amazing tool, because I am at the stage of my like business where I need to get data now. Like I know I'm clear on what I want to do, and now I just need to ask questions. So before I actually create something that nobody needs, or right?
Because that's a waste of time.
Yes.
So, and it's funny, like I've kind of come full circle to the point where I'm planning to send out another survey first week of January to be like, hey guys, how can I help you? Like, what do you need help with? What can I create that's going to make 2021 better for you? And yeah, because I would rather create something that's needed as opposed to just creating what I think somebody needs. And yeah, sometimes I'm right, but I'm not right all the time. Like the Slayer Goals Planner, huge check mark there. Yeah. I killed that one. But yeah, and I think back, I'm like, really, girl, you haven't really ran a survey in years. So it's going back to those basics, like foundations of this online stuff is just ask.
Yes.
Don't guess, just ask.
That's true. It's just like when you go dating with on a date, like the guy's like, just tell me, just tell me what you want. Don't make it mess. Right? So yeah. So do you have any tips for survey? Like how do we make it more like how do we make someone want to answer your survey? How do we make it appealing to others to give us their time?
Usually I'll say like, it only takes 3 minutes, or, have like a fun graphic, and like saying like, let me help you. Like I'm asking because I want to help you. And not everyone is going to reply. Like, that's just the sad part, but you can ask. And using something like Typeform, for example, I find it's more of a dynamic type of survey. Granted, like I think a free plan, you only get a couple of type forms now, but you just need one. You just need 3 or 4 questions. Don't make it complicated. If anything, you could end like 3 questions. Like what's your number 1 challenge? What can I create to help you? Or you could even ask questions like, if I was to make a product, what would you like? Do you prefer a course? Do you prefer an ebook? Do you prefer coaching? Like how, like these are just some examples of questions that you can ask. And then you could say something like, I'll be following up with a few people to, help them one-on-one. Leave your email if you'd like to be one of those people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like 3 minutes. It doesn't take, you need to add some multiple choice in there. So like it's not a big ask. It's just a few minutes.
I love how you said set the expectation right away. You're like 3 minutes, guys. Oh, 3 minutes. I have 3 minutes, right? So then the person is already in a mode of like wanting to answer your question. Like I always get scared at the end, of the phone call. Can you stay in for a survey? I'm like, oh, I'm just like, I don't have time.
I just had one like 2 days ago, and my number 1 question is, how long is this gonna take?
That's true. So you put yourself into the person's shoes, like, okay, so do I have 2 minutes or 3? And then that doesn't mean that you can't go in again in a couple of months and ask a little bit more, continue the engagement, right? Like don't go and 100 of questions the first time that you're running a survey, so that people never look at your survey at all, right? A little bit is better than nothing.
Yeah, and you can tell them about it more than once. Like, don't just ask once and like never, email them about it again. Yes, you can send the one big email. Like as you were talking, I'm just looking at my type form. So yeah, the one I did way back, I got 200 responses. So this is like valuable data. This is from back in 2018. I did this survey. So, no, 18. I'm just looking at the dates. But by asking this, so I would send the one email where you are like, hey guys, I need your help, or I need your help. And then name is or like name, I need your help as like the subject line, or quick favor, or quick question. I think those like quick question, Marinda, like those type of subject lines I think will get you the best responses. So it's funny, like I'm looking at this survey and I had populated, you know, what I thought people were struggling with. And number one, 25% of people said procrastination and distractions. Funny, right?
Yeah, that's why. Okay, I can't wait to talk about this. But before we go into the book, actually, is there a place where you would, if people want to follow your advice and they want to start a survey, where should they go? Is there a tool that they can create a survey kind of like easily and then send it, like make it merge with their email list?
I don't know if you would merge it with your email list, but you could just, I would just put a link. You could use Typeform. Like I said, it's no longer a completely free tool, but I think you can get a free account where you can just create a couple of surveys. I like Typeform because it only loads one question at a time.
Okay.
Like, yeah, Google Forms is free, but it's not as like pretty and it's not as dynamic. And I feel like when something is more dynamic, people are more likely to complete the survey.
Yes.
I also like Typeform because you can embed that form on your website. So you can even send them to a web page. So then you can see like, oh, this many people viewed it and only like 50% filled it out. Like just interesting data for you for making it better next time. So yeah, I would just use Typeform. Keep the simple the questions simple, short, add one as multiple choice, invite them to leave an email if you want to follow up. And then for a couple of weeks, I would just put that survey in your pre-S or your PS of your emails. Like if you're emailing weekly, just be like, pre-S, did you take my survey yet?
Okay.
And then, you know?
Yeah.
So you can even say like, give a gift to everyone who leaves their email, right? Like it's not hard, like a free product or something that you have.
Yes, that's awesome. Definitely exciting, something to add into my goals. That's perfect. So let's talk about your book. So let's show your book to the viewers first of all. I mean, we've shown it a couple of times, and the title is Conquer Procrastination. And so this book is now available on Amazon. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can buy it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Chapters, Canadian people, what?
Yes.
So it's available online.
Yeah, and directly on your website too?
No, you can just, I just linked to the Amazon page because Amazon's going to get it to you fastest. So.
Yes. We like faster the better, right? So we can stop procrastinating.
So get there quick.
Yeah. So can you talk to us about, you know, how did you start writing the book? I mean, we talked a little bit about how like you've collected the data with the survey and so forth, but what really inspired you to go there and then sit down and really, really write the book? Because there's so many ways you were helping people already. So
my book writing story is a little different probably from the other authors you've spoken to in this series. I'm not a self-published author. I didn't, you know, pitch an idea to a publisher. The publisher approached me. So I worked with a publisher that had an idea for a book, the Conquer Procrastination. They had an outline and they asked me, well, at first I had to I think they approached a few authors. I submitted a writing sample and they chose me. So I got this book because of my blog, as I've been publishing regularly on topics relating to goals on my site for the last few years. And I guess they saw it somewhere, probably Pinterest, maybe Google. And yeah, that's why they reached out to me about writing this.
Yeah, that's awesome. The first time when they reached out to you, what was your reaction, your feeling? Was that something a little bit like, oh, another thing? Or was more, ooh, like exciting?
Well, I thought the email was like spam. Like, I don't know. I get like so many weird emails these days. And I was just like, what is this about? So I kind of ignored it for a few days. Sorry. And then I was like, all right, I'll just click on, because it was like this big paragraph and it was like, book a call with us. And I'm like, about what? So anyways, I was like having a moment of whatever. So I just clicked on it and I booked the call. And I thought, because I've received emails about giving like a quote to be part of someone's book. So I thought that's what this was about. Like, oh, you just want like me to write a paragraph or something. And then she was like, oh no, it's to write the whole book. And I was like, interesting. Tell me more.
That's what a great journey. Like, when they say like all your effort at one point, I have the expression in French, like porter fruit, it will have like I can't even put it in like English. Yeah, pay off. Exactly. Hard work pays off. And it's like you've been so consistent and working hard on your blog, and stay within your niche, like the subject. And then look at that. Like people found you, and then this opportunity had made you an author. What an amazing story, know?
So it was crazy. Because it was 2020. So I wrote it in March.
Mm-hmm.
I had 6 weeks to write the whole thing. So
6 weeks.
I was like, what?
It's possible, guys. You can write a book in 6 weeks.
You can. Because like I said, I had an outline. Just like we were talking about planning your goals, being organized. Without an outline, I would have been lost, right? Mm-hmm. So whether you're writing this book on your own or you're pitching it as an idea, no matter what you're pitching, you definitely are going to need an outline. A chapter outline where you're like, these are my chapters. I'm going to talk about this. These are all the subtopics, blah, blah, blah. Like you got to have a framework, a blueprint that you can follow. So, and it's the same, whether you're writing a blog post or, to me, like this book is just like, I don't know, like 40 blog posts in one, right? And I think having that, knowing for one, like how long the book is going to be, how much time I had, I was able to say, okay, like I'm going to write this many. So my plan every day was like 1,200 words. Mm-hmm. The book was 34,000 words around there. Mm-hmm. So I would say, okay, I'll write 1,200 words a day, like for 5 days straight, then take 2 days off. Mm-hmm. And 1,200 words is like enough where it would only take me maybe like 3 hours of me, like with a lot of wasting time in between. Like, I'll be honest, I would be like cleaning and then I'd sit here and I'd write for like 30 minutes and then I'd go do something else. And then as I'm doing that other stuff, I'm like connecting the ideas together in my mind and then like writing more. So I knew that I could handle that, but it's so much that it's not overwhelming, but also enough that if I have a day where I'm like, oh, I can't write, and we all have those days, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, I could do 2,400 the next day. It's not that much, right?
Okay.
You kind of have to know what you're able to do. And I'd say if you're writing a book, just get it done. Like, don't stretch it out for like decades. Like, you don't have time for that. Like, just getting the draft done and finding an editor who's amazing. And my editor was amazing. Shout outs to Sammy. But yeah, like, I think having somebody, knowing that you're the writer and you need an editor. So you don't need to be both. And that means that your draft does not have to be perfect because it's not your job to make it perfect. Right. And, the editor is going to, and this is also the thing I learned. I think my book went through 3 editors, maybe more. You learn like the whole process of what it really takes, right? Like getting a draft done is just like part 1, like, and you're working closely with your editor, and then it goes to a developmental editor who like makes it even better. And then it goes to a copy editor who's like going over it again. And I'm sure there are some other editors that were part of this process that I don't even know who they are, but just knowing that your job is just to write and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like having a team that's going to support you, I think is like really important, especially if you're self-publishing. You need someone who knows what they're doing to help you.
Yeah, I actually really love that. I was going to ask you if you've always been a good writer, because having the background of being a blogger and being able to, express yourself like through writing already in a blog, it's already amazing. And then is that a skill set that you've always had, or if you've learned to kind of like perfect over the years of blogging? Because to me, writing is not my yes, exactly. But I would love to write a book one day. And I'm like, oh, and I love how you just said it doesn't have to be perfect.
Nothing has to be perfect, y'all. Nothing. I know. Our plan. But it's just draft 1.
I know, but like just knowing that there's editors out there that is actually there, that's their role, right? But yeah. I still wanted to know, what are your like strengths when it comes to writing?
So yeah, I feel like I've always been, maybe not always, but I feel like it's impossible to go through university and grad school where we literally had to write insanely long papers like every single week and not become a decent writer. So maybe that helped me. I also have a diploma in communications. So I did study a bit of writing and marketing that way. But yeah, I don't know. I think it might be one of those. I don't know if it's like my genius zone or whatever the other one is. I never took that quiz, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, is genius or what's the other one?
I'm not sure. Like,
Anyways, I don't know if it's like
the non-genius zone.
yeah, like the other, like you're just good at it, or if it's like your like or my you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
It must be closer to your genius zone than the other one.
yeah, I don't know. Like, so when I started my blog, it was funny. Like, I had a few people who said to me, like, "Whoa, I didn't know you could write like this," and I'm like, honestly, I didn't know either. So, yeah, it's just practice. Like, just you get comfortable speaking in your own voice and just being yourself. So like to anyone who has an email list and is like afraid to email them, just talk to them like they're your best friend. Like that's literally all it is. Like just be yourself. And maybe that takes some practice, like getting comfortable, but I think that's the best way. You shouldn't sound like anyone else but yourself, and practice. And listen, I make spelling mistakes all the time. And it's fine because I'm the creative, I'm the writer, I'm not the editor. And sometimes those make it into my email or my freebies. And honestly, it's whatever. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. To me, I would rather get something done and out there and then, worry about making it better later.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love that.
Relying on an editor.
Yeah, because perfection is the enemy of execution.
It really is.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that. We have Stella here that tuned in. She said that she's like, hi. She's like, she's so curious about this topic. And I asked her like if she had any question about like, how to conquer procrastination and stuff like that. And
to let her talk about that. If you guys I can spill the tea. I spent just because I said I wrote this in 6 weeks, do not think that I didn't read my face off. So I was like, okay, grad student time, reading like every journal article I could get my hands on about procrastination. And I always shout them out because this book really would not exist if not for the decades of research by leading psychologists in the field of procrastination. So like, thank you to all of you who they spend their lives researching why we put things off. Like the least we could do is take their advice. Like, come on. So yeah, like it was really great. I can briefly take you through how the book works if you guys are interested. So we start off with the psychology of procrastination. And I think this is so important because I think a lot of things that we do, whether it's, I need to be more productive, or, I need to stop procrastinating, or I need to be more positive. Like we say these things, or I need to change my habits. These are things we say to ourselves, especially around the new year. But here's the problem. We're reading blog posts, watching YouTube videos that are giving us the resolutions to our problems, yet we take no time to understand the root of our problems. So like, tell me, like, if you have an infection and you just put a Band-Aid on it, are you getting rid of your infection, or you just have like a Band-Aid on and for no reason? So I think a lot of the times where we have these issues with productivity or procrastination, we need to understand the psychology of why we put things off in the first place, or the solutions are not going to stick. We're just going to get stuck in the same, like destructive patterns. And procrastination is literally a bad habit, right? We start doing something and then we do something else. It makes us feel better. We feel worse. So then we try to do it again. And then, we do something else. We're just like stuck in this like cyclone of putting things off. So chapter 1 starts with the psychology of procrastination. And I break it down for you, like helping you to figure out, okay, why do I put things off? I even share, different examples of the type of procrastinators that we are. Like, are you an overthinker? Are you a perfectionist? Are you an imposter? Maybe you're a daydreamer. Like, so it's really fun. Like, as I was writing this, I remember I would read the chapter out to like my family when we were doing breakfast, and I'd be like, okay, tell me who you are. So it's really fun to hear these. It's like almost reading your horoscope, right? Like, oh, that's me. Like, oh, I need to stop doing that. So we break down the psychology of why we put things off. And then the rest of the book, I'm just like straight up strategies that you can try today and that will work. They're very bite-sized chapters. So for example, like if you can see right here, this one tip is not very long, right? Like you can read one tip a day, and then in a couple of weeks, you've like remade everything that you do. So it's very bite-sized and very actionable.
So I love your book, the title of the book and stuff, but there's some people that don't know their procrastination, that they like to procrastinate, and like they would be even looking at a title and be like, oh, like, that's not me. But how do we make them realize, like, now that we have you here, like how can these people recognize that, like, some key points that can help them realize, oh shoot, I do procrastinate,
Well, according to these psychologists, 96% are procrastinators. So,
so you must follow.
Spoiler alert, you're one of us. Everyone is a procrastinator, okay? We put things off, whether that's doing our taxes or eating healthy and exercising or starting that business that we know we should have started, but we still haven't. We all put things off. I think it's very human behavior of us to, I'll do it tomorrow, right? It's like the disease of tomorrow. Like, poor tomorrow always has like so much to do. But I think like realizing you're a procrastinator, it's not necessarily your job or my job to like point out to other people that they're procrastinating. I think everyone needs to have that moment of self-realization. Like, if you read my book, that story I share with you 100% was my like, my wake up, come to whomever moment.
Yes.
And I think we all need to have that. And that's like a personal experience. We shouldn't shame other people for their procrastination, but you can buy them my book. You might need, you could be like, hey, this might be helpful.
Like, okay, that's the thing. Like, I'm like, how do I strategically, tell someone that they should read this book without shaming them, that
you can say, hey, it was helpful to me. Like, wow, reading this book helped me realize, like, whoa, I was putting off things and I found it so helpful. And I think it could be helpful for you too. And then after you enjoy it, you can pass it along to someone else. Like, say it in a sense, like, it helped me, it can help you too, kind of thing, maybe,
Yeah. And I love the first chapter, and I love the story, how you actually, talk to your family about, hey, what kind. It wasn't like, are you a procrastinator? What kind are you?
Yeah, but don't even that's a good point. Don't even say, are you? No.
Yes.
What kind are you? Right?
Yes.
One.
and what kind are you, Nadalie? Now that we're on that subject, like, we all have this certain percentage. And then when you're talking about taxes, I'm like, oh my God, that's like me. I have to do my bookkeeping, and I'm just like, oh gosh, it's so not.
I've made peace with that. I will always be the person who files on the day of, the last possible day. But that's just how I get it done. I would rather spend 2 whole days just doing it than like spending time every week doing it. I don't have time for that. So that's just me. It gets done. I would say I'm not really a procrastinator. I am in recovery.
Oh, yes.
But I was the perfectionist, 100%.
Yes.
I still am, in a way, aiming for perfection, but I have a limit.
Yes.
If I'm doing something, I'm like, okay, you got 5 hours to get this done, and as perfect as it is what it's going to be. So I think we just need to understand how we procrastinate and set boundaries. So Yeah, and I really and truly, like, I try to not put things off. Like, if I'm going to get something done, I'm just like, okay, let's do it. Because a lot of the times when we procrastinate, it's like, okay, we have this idea of doing thing, and then there's like all this time, like the opening credits of a movie. Like, imagine if you went to a movie and it was like 75% of the movie was just opening credits. That's your life right now when you're procrastinating. It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So what if you can just compress that time and just get up and do it? So I try to, if I'm like, oh, I have this idea, I want to create this. Okay, let's just do it right now. Let's just get it done.
Yes.
And then I can be free. So I think it's a muscle. It's if you're training yourself to react. It's almost like the 5-second rule. You should read that book if anybody is having problems with not getting started on things. But in her book, she teaches people to just get it done. Mel Robbins. It's a great book if anyone's struggling with that. So it's just learning, like, okay, I want to do something. I want to do something in my business. I want to do something in my personal life. I want to eat healthier. I want to exercise. Okay, so think about like your behavior. You have an idea. What do? I think a lot of us, instead of just getting up and doing it, like, oh, I need to exercise. Sorry, it's the new year. It's the easiest example. I need to exercise. Your thoughts are like, oh, I should join a gym. Oh, wait, it's COVID. I can't join a gym. Oh, I should buy a Peloton. It'll take 8 weeks to get here. Oh, I don't have exercise shoes. Oh, it's too cold outside. Oh, wait for it to be warmer. Right? When all you have to do is just get up and do some jumping jacks and you're done. Like, go on YouTube and watch a video, yo.
Yes.
Right? So in the time that you wasted thinking, you could have just done the action. And I think another example is a lot of the time, maybe we have an idea for our business. What do? You go try and create some crazy business plan that you spend 3 weeks doing, when if you had just done it, it would have been done and up and rolling, and then you can just improve on it later. So yes, I'm not contradicting myself. Earlier, I told you that you need to plan and get organized. That's for things that you already are doing and your system is not working.
Yes.
But if you're starting new things, or you're adding on to your life, or there's new habits, it's best just to do and figure it out later. So, like, don't get caught in what I call the planning trap, because it really is a trap. And just training yourself, like, oh, I want to eat healthy. Okay, I'll go eat some fruit right now. I got some apples in the kitchen. I'll just go eat that. It doesn't need to be this whole like meal planning and like going to the farmer's market. Like, we make things so complicated. They don't need to be that complicated.
Yes. No, it makes sense. I think that all of us, I mean, without kind of generalizing, but like have some sort of a problem with perfectionism. Maybe that's because of the information that we get online, like the Instagram people that we follow, or like the YouTube, like people seem to all have it all figured out and like have it so together that when you want to do something, you just feel, but I have to do it right. This person is like telling me, and I think
that's like the imposter syndrome though. That's like I'm not good enough unless I'm doing it just like, oh, my YouTube videos aren't great. Like, I'm not going to do it like Marinda, so I'm not going to do it. But, you can drive yourself mad. And trust me, I'm not saying I never compare myself to anyone else. I do it all the time, but I respond with compassion to myself. The only person that you are ever competing with is yourself, who you were 5 minutes ago, 5 days ago, 5 months ago. So stop looking at what other people are doing. And I'll be real, if you're spending your time watching YouTube videos and on Instagram all day long, why? You're just giving them ad money. You're helping fill up somebody else's pockets. Get up and figure yourself out. Like, you're not going to find me on Instagram. I'll be honest. My notifications are off. And, I was only posting because I was promoting my book.
Yes.
And I don't have time to be watching other people's lives. Like, I will be real with you. So I would say that a great resolution to anyone who finds themselves in this mindset is just to stop scrolling through the best moments of other people's lives, because guess what? It's all fake anyways. Right? So just live your best life and take that time and invest it in yourself. Like, I'll be honest, if I didn't have a blog, a biz, and all this nonsense, you would not find me on social media. Yeah. So, you know, like, you just have to set boundaries. And if you do that and you see that, because like I said, one of them is the imposter, is a form of procrastinator. And if you feel that, like, okay, so spoiler alert, if you read my book, procrastination is emotional mismanagement, right? We're not putting things off because we don't necessarily want to do them. We put them off because of the feelings we have about doing that certain task. So if you scrolling on Instagram or watching YouTube videos about people living their best life in LA, all of that is like bringing you down, then cut it off, right? Like, just stop watching it, because you're not going to be confident in that place. So I think all of that feeds into procrastination. I'll be honest, I don't have time for Instagram. That's a personal choice. But, you know, I think you just need to know your boundaries and protect yourself. You know, if you think of, you know, we're like a little seed and we need like good conditions to grow and bloom. And if you're in a negative mindset where it's all clouds and rain and, you know, it's just not going to happen.
Use whatever you can handle. If you can't handle social media, then don't be on it, you know, and things like that. But I think what I was trying to say is that we have such easy access to information, how to do a certain things right. Like, even like, for example, if you want to eat healthy, you should eat this, like, you know, like, you have you know,
there's too much
what you need to do. And then you feel like you might not be attacking that goal in the right way. So then you're like, I'm not going to do it.
No, it's true. Yeah. I think like information overload is definitely a thing. Yeah. And if you're in that situation where it's like, okay, like, for example, if I want to start a YouTube channel, there's like, I think Sunny is like a super, you know, popular person who like teaches people about YouTube. And there's like all these other people who are teaching people about YouTube. And I would just say, no matter what you're trying to learn, like, let's tie it back to having a coach. Like, I've taken courses. So I'm not really a coach person, but I'll take a course. And it's finding a person you trust, who speaks a language you understand, and learning from them, instead of just trying to learn from 10 different people and like piecing it together, you know, like spending your life Googling. So for example, I have courses on Pinterest. Like, I teach Pinterest marketing, and I'm like, my goal for my course is that it's the only course you ever need to take, right? You can get all the answers from one person, or you can get an answer from 10 different people. And I think it's all about finding someone you trust and just learn from them.
Yes.
You know? Follow their steps. And then when they've taken you as far as they can take you, find someone else who's going to take you to the next level.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the same thing. There's like a few people when I think in the beginning when I was starting my YouTube channel, you're trying to get the information. How do I do it? There's so many to it, like layers, like algorithm and all these things. And I feel as a creator, like a very highly creative person, knowing that I have to do something in a certain way, or having like doing the right thing was almost annoying to me. It was stopping me from, how do you say it? Like, it's almost like controlling my true self to come out in a way. So I had to stop listening to people and just make my own mistakes and just do things. And then that is when I feel the most at ease. And yeah, so kind of like you, what you're saying.
100%.
Photo of us.
I just like putting it on Instagram because we were saying how I'm never on Instagram.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, you are on here and there, you know, but we don't need, like, I'm working on setting it a certain way so that I don't have to be on all the time. So once it's there, it's doing what I want it to do so that people can find me.
Yeah.
And it's doing its job. And then hopping here and there. I think that's finding your perfect relationship with social media. I don't like being on it all the time, but right now I'm in a learning curve, new to entrepreneurship. So kind of like have to be there in a way.
No, totally. And I think everyone should choose a platform and like master it.
Yes.
So like you don't need to be a master of everything.
Yes.
But like obviously for me, the platform that I grew from and constantly spend time on is Pinterest. Like that's where I am a lot. And also I'm on Facebook a lot, but it's mostly Pinterest. And I think once you master that, then you outsource and have someone else run your Instagram. So, hey, if you do that, holler at me. So
yeah, guys, like honestly, I'm planning on learning from Nadalie on Pinterest, because that's like the next one, because I know exactly what I need to do and where I'm heading now. And I know the tools that's going to help me the most is, I think it's Pinterest. Like I didn't learn it yet. That's why I say I think, but hey, there's only one way to find out, is for me to kind of like go and do it. And Nadalie is here. She's my buddy. And she's your buddy too, guys. Don't hesitate to reach out to her and check her out, check her blog, check her course out, and follow her on Instagram, and she will show up here and there. She won't let you she would just let you hanging. She'll be there at one point, but you can definitely reach out to her if you want to. I'm going to put everything that you need to know in the description box below. And I can't even believe it. Like there's only like 5 minutes left to this show. Like I know. I just want to continue asking you more questions. But maybe I'll have you back or something.
Yeah, let's talk about Pinterest in the new year. I'm like relaunching my courses, so it's going to be really good.
Yes, let's do that. And then this book, guys, every featured member is here, and we are always having a draw a couple weeks after the live. And so this book is going to be up for grab on a draw. So if you're not part of Maxification yet, we would love to have you there. If you're an entrepreneur who would like to help and support an entrepreneur, then make sure to join us and then get a chance to win this wonderful book that we have from Nadalie. So I think we've covered it all. Is there anything that you would like to say to the viewers before we say bye to them?
Yeah, I would say that, as we go into 2021, like this is my time of year. Like I'm all about the resolutions, but even more, I'm about setting those goals. So I would just say like, get a little bit clear on the direction you want to go. Like 2020 has been, like it wasn't great. But I think if there's any year that we've learned about ourselves, what we need, what we value, it's this year. So don't just like dismiss that. Like I'm all about like carrying forward the lessons that I've learned. And I think you've definitely learned a lot. And whether there's some kind of procrastinating you're doing in your life, think about, remember, like, what do you value? What did you learn the most? What did you realize that I need more of ABC in 2021, and just set those goals that are going to align you and like push you in that direction. So yeah, like honestly, if any of that sounds good to you, I encourage you to visit my blog. It's allyouBoo.com. I've got so many freebies. Honestly, I think there's like 30 at this point. I have a problem. I keep designing freebies. Literally, it's a problem. Yeah, and just get a copy of the book. Enter to win the giveaway. Hopefully I'll be sending this to you. And yeah, reach out. Seriously, I'm available.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love having you here. Like there's been so many wonderful things that's been said. I really hope that if you didn't have a chance to watch this interview live, that we will just kind of go and just watch the replay, because we have put in a lot of little information there, like where to create your survey, what is the good about the survey, and then like your journey, and also a glimpse of the book of what it is, that what kind of procrastinator you are. Okay, if you're in the 4%, also just comment below, because we want to know you. Who's the 4% that is out there, so comment below, guys, and leave us a thumbs up or a heart wherever it is that you're tuning from. Love having you here. And if you just hop in and out, well, just know that we are thanking you for hopping in and out. So yeah, thanks Natalie for being here, and
Thanks, Marinda.
happy holidays.
To you too.
Yeah, thanks.
Yay.
Bye guys.